What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. I just want to focus in on, with Austin Matthews and all likelihood going to Toronto. Is Matthews and Marner the new Toews and Kane? What do I mean? Well, Matthews is a consummate two-way center that plays in all situations and excels in said situations. And Marner, looks like he's going to be a dynamic offensive stud that, is going to be, one of the higher scoring players in the league if he reaches what I think his upside is, and I think he will. Obviously, to Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews have accomplished quite a bit in Chicago in the 9 years they've been there. 3 Stanley Cups and countless memorable moments. I mean, this year Kane was the best hockey player on the planet. So to throw the comparisons around, shouldn't be viewed lightly, but definitely a thing to keep an eye on. I'm intrigued right now. And my whole thing is if I'm going to build a team, I want a number one defenseman and a big two-way number one center. So basically what they have in Florida with Aaron Ekblad and Sasha Barkov. But look at what they have in Toronto. You're going to have Matthews. You're going to have Marner. Nylander obviously can play. I think Kapanen's going to be a hell of a player. Morgan Riley, I'm not saying is Duncan Keith. Don't for 1 second take my quote out of context with Morgan Riley. But what I am saying is he's 22 years old. Duncan Keith didn't play in the show till he was 22. And the Leafs are on the upward trajectory. And I think, Riley going through some adversity in his early career is going to help him, be a legitimate, top pairing defenseman for a really, really, really long time. So I'm not comparing him to Duncan Keith per se, but I'm just saying he's very, very good and shows a lot of the same qualities Keith did at the same age. So, with him on the blue line as, kind of an anchor, you got the two studs up for, the two headliners up front, and, the supporting cast kind of falls into place. So I think I'm not trying to give fans in Toronto false hope. I know you've been given that enough, but I like what's going on there. And, the other thing is, just for the record, anyone that watches the Blackhawks play consistently knows Toews and Kane really only play together on the power play. But, I like the thought of the two of Matthews and Marner starting next year together. And I know, having two young players, a defensive liability, all other shit. It's like, you know what? Matthews is a hell of a defensive player. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves for how good he is defensively. And I think Marner has something to his thing, and I think having a coach like Mike Babcock, who has never really been in this situation before where he's got all this young talent. You look what the Toronto Marlies are doing in the AHL playoffs. And, they got like 50 players on their roster right now. It's kind of funny. They're having some great success. You got these guys coming up. Marner's obviously torching the OHL playoffs. So there's plenty of reason for fans to be optimistic. It's not going to happen overnight. Toews and Kane didn't make the playoffs their first year in Chicago. But I think there's a possibility of something really special happening in Toronto. And they got the right coach for the job. So our Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner are going to be the new Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane. Want to bet against it. Anyway, that's all I got in this episode of the Power Play with CJ. Stay tuned for more episodes throughout the playoffs and beyond. Later, guys.